You're listening to Bye Bye Baby, a Dob Berman production.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Bye Bye Baby. I'm Maddie. I will be your babysitter today, and my babies today are...
Anna.
Voldemort. Max. My name is Max.
He who shall not be named.
If he can't be named, then he can't talk in the podcast. Oh.
He's no longer one of the spicy babies.
It's Steamy babies.
Oh, Steamy. Either way.
No, Steamy's
There are
worse.
two sides. Steamy, spicy. Are you a steamy baby?
It's like buns. Are you a steamed bun or are you a spicy bun? I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about right now. But if you're not old enough to marry or register a civil partnership, you're not old enough to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, unmarried nerds.
AKA all of us. Unmarried nerds.
For now.
Today, we're going to be talking about same-sex relationships versus opposite-sex relationships. How are they different? And kind of applying that to, like, the bi-sphere.
Ooh.
You know? If that makes sense.
The bi-ball.
Bi-ball.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Wait, is that like a ball? Like,
Yeah,
we
like a
wear
dance.
gowns
Oh, I
and
thought
stuff?
it was B-I-B-L-E.
No. That's the Bible. I'm talking about the bi-ball.
Hey, by the way, there is a book called The Bible, B-I-B-L-E, and, it's amazing. It's a collection of nonfiction personal essays from bisexuals. Check it out. It's really good. It's from a publisher, called, Monstrous...
Regiment.
Is it?
No,
Monstrous?
I don't know. That's a Discworld book title.
Or it's like Monstrous Regime or something like that. It's similar to that. It's Monstrous something. They're an independent publisher here in Scotland.
We can add it to the show notes.
So, just a random tidbit. Check it out. It's really good. They have 2 volumes. So I wanted to first, like, open the discussion up with a statistic. So I wanted to see what you guys think that the statistic is. I'm curious.
Okay. What's the question?
So, there's that... It's kind of a trope now. It's not even a trope. It's just kind of like... Everyone just kind of assumes that people that are bisexual, in the long run, end up in an opposite sex relationship. Or a straight relationship, if you want to say that.
We don't.
We don't want...
But...
Sorry.
The dirty word.
Yeah.
Sorry, Julie.
Straight is not a dirty word, but in this situation, it's not...
straight.
It's a cut.
It adds
Straight
to
with a
the...
capital straight.
It adds to the whole, like, if you're bisexual, you're half straight and half gay thing. And that doesn't bother me, but it bothers a lot of people. And that just kind of adds to it. So, just kind of, like, stay away from that, I think, for safety purposes.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys what you think the numbers are. What percentage of people from this survey do you think that were bisexual, ended up in an opposite sex relationship, and then what percent do you think ended up in a same-sex relationship? And keep in mind, the numbers are not going to add up because it's counting for, like, the section of people that don't identify as either. So,
Yeah.
Well, I'm
what do
go
you
with
think?
69 for both.
Wow, the originality.
I'm going to go with 420% for both.
Nice.
Okay.
420 blaze it, bruh.
Serious answer. You want one for straight
Yes.
and one for
What percentage
same-sex?
do you think of bisexuals end up in opposite sex relationships?
I want to say it'll be something like 33%.
12 and a half.
And this was opposite sex, correct?
Oh, then a half
Yeah.
and 12.
And then how many do you think end up in a same-sex
I
relationship?
want to say like 13, 15%.
47.
Interesting numbers, guys.
Yeah.
It's safe to say both of you are very far off.
Cool.
Okay, but who's closest and who won?
I won.
I think your numbers were pretty far all over the place, so it's kind of hard to know. And you guys kind of said them at the same time, so I'm not sure.
What are the right answers, and I'll pretend to have
Yes.
had those all along.
Anna is always right, so we'll say that Anna wins.
I win.
Okay, Anna, what were your answers?
12 and a half. No, a half inch 12 and 47.
Oh. Then, I'm sorry, but Anna, you're wrong
I
this time.
switched them.
Does that mean
You're
I'm
wrong
right?
this time. So, according to a survey... Oh, they're canoodling. According to a survey done in 2013, 84% of bisexuals ended up in an opposite-sex relationship.
Oh, really?
Yes. And only 9% ended up in a same-sex relationship.
Huh.
And then the other percent is for, people that are non-binary, gender fluid, gender queer,
Not in a relationship.
what have you. No, all of these people were in relationships in the survey. So, I think that's a pretty stark statistic.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, wow. Wonder why that is.
that is a lot of people. So that brings me to the next question. Why do you guys think that is? I know, Anna, you just asked me, why is
I
that?
don't know.
But give me your hypothesis.
Oh Christ, I've got no idea. I want to say societal pressure, but I blame everything
Yeah.
on society.
Down with the patriarchy. The fact that you guys did that at the same time. They both raised their fists into the air at the same
So
time.
did our invisible camera person.
Oh, I didn't even notice. I was the only one. Dang it.
Yeah.
I missed.
Let's try that again.
Down with patriarchy.
Okay, yeah. We
Cool,
got it
we
that
did it.
time.
Yes,
So-
all of us did.
So why do you guys think that the majority of
not to be-
bisexuals end up in an opposite sex relationship?
I honestly think it's probably easier to explain to your grandparents.
Ah, yes. I actually had a...
I mean, my grandma, left the Catholic Church in conjunction with the fact that one of her many sons turned out to be gay.
Huh.
So, grandma's chill. But still, it's a long conversation.
I actually, I was talking to my mom about the podcast one day, and, I think it was after Thanksgiving, and she, told me that she was having a conversation with my grandma about the podcast, and she's like, so what's it gonna be about? And my mom told her, and she goes, oh, that's nice. So, I mean, that could go one of two ways. That it was a sarcastic, oh, that's nice. Or she actually was saying, oh, that's nice.
Or she just had no idea what she was talking
No.
about.
Or she had no idea what was going on. That's the other one. But any other specific reasons that would make sense to you guys? I mean,
Tax
this isn't
purposes.
tax purposes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. Gay marriage is legal in most places.
Is this
Yeah.
in the US or in the UK?
I think
Brazil.
this
Or in Argentina?
Argentina, that's awfully random. No, this survey was done in the US, but I would assume that it's probably pretty similar percentages no matter where you go.
I would be interested in comparing them and seeing
Yeah.
if there is a
Yeah.
It's hard to
difference,
find statistics specifically for the UK.
especially
I
if you have
found.
a
Yeah,
laptop that you bought in America.
Yes, I also have an American laptop, so
From
all of
America.
my Google research, all the research, all my Google results are just kind of automatically shifted to the
It's
American
true. Which makes
perspective.
being a uni student here kind of difficult sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely does.
So, did they
Well-
have a reason for that?
No, that's the thing. I mean, there's speculation, of course, but there's no. This is 100% the 5 reasons why that is. But let me pull it up. So something that I thought was interesting was that bisexuals are actually at a higher risk for cancer, STIs, and heart disease. And then add on to that bisexuals are more likely to have anxiety, depression, and substance abuse problems. And then there's
Some really
significantly...
nice smelling cleaning stuff at work.
Okay, stop sniffing the cleaning stuff.
And they're significantly at a higher risk of engaging in self-harm behaviors or attempting suicide than heterosexuals, gays, and lesbians. Not combined, but just like separated.
Well,
So
the gays have unending, overflowing confidence.
yeah,
Is
but
this-
I find that interesting just because of like
Yeah. This all
It's
coming
weird.
from the same survey.
this is yes.
Okay.
What a weird survey to take that must
Yeah.
have been.
But it made sense when it put that into perspective that, I mean, maybe subconsciously the majority of bisexuals are kind of like tapping into survival mode per se, to where
Yeah.
like we're already at a much higher risk for all of these issues that going
I don't need a
into
big old target on my back.
yes,
I'm
going
Yeah.
into an opposite sex relationship lowers your risk a little bit, at least in one area.
I would also think it's like the difference between going into a bar and a gay bar, where like most of the bars are default straight bars, whatever that is. But
That's all bars.
yeah, it's bars.
Depressing.
Yeah, but if you're just going to any old bar, then in that kind of culture, then chances is good that you're going to meet someone of the opposite sex. Whereas if you want to find someone of the same sex, you have to go to a specific place.
Exactly. You actually tapped
I'm a
into
genius.
yeah. Yes, you are. You actually tapped into the second reason why this is most likely the case. And that's the fact of numbers. Think about it. There's
Oh,
significantly
numbers.
take
I'll think about
let's take a bisexual man. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hand. I'm sorry.
Check one.
You have yes, Max.
Oh god.
Max, you have a significantly higher chance to come across a
Lady
straight
person.
woman that would be into you the way that you're into them than you would a gay man that's into you the way that you're into them, or a bisexual man that's into you the way that you're into them.
That makes sense.
Like,
The dating
It-
pool on the one side is big
Yeah.
pool,
Yes.
and the other side is like a little nug.
because people significantly, at least in America, I was actually surprised to find out that the numbers for how many LGBT folk we have here in the UK, it's like an astronomical difference from America. I was really surprised.
There's issues with statistical analysis of how many people within certain population groups are LGBT, but I don't have time for that right now.
That's a whole nother topic in
Yeah,
itself.
that's
But
completely
at
different
least
kettle of
in
fish.
America, it's estimated that it's like 3% of the population is LGBT, something like that.
You've got a
Oh, more
much
than that. Way more than that. Because I remember reading statistics just about the asexual community that it was 1%.
You've also got to bear in mind you've got a much bigger
Population?
country. Yeah, you've got a much bigger population, and the thing with the US is there's much broader cultural differences between areas than there are in the UK.
That's
Yes,
true.
100%
For example,
true.
I'm from New England and Maddie's from the Midwest Bible Belt zone.
Yeah,
Yes,
like
very different places.
Very different.
If
Less
they-
snow, though. We can,
Yeah.
we can agree on the snow.
Yeah.
if, like, for example, if they'd done this survey in the middle of the Bible Belt or in the middle of like fucking
Oh, yeah. The West
Georgia-
Coast.
is Georgia bad?
Yeah.
Georgia's
Yeah.
in the
Georgia's
south.
pretty bad.
So
Yeah. So like, if you do it there,
Sorry,
you're gonna
Georgia.
get a load of people who
it's a red state. So
Yeah, you're gonna get a load of people who are queer who are maybe going, I'm not gonna tell this random
Or
stranger.
who haven't had the resources to figure
Yeah.
out themselves.
Yeah,
I'm-
exactly.
I mean, surveys will always have a margin of error.
Yeah.
100%. Just because
It's self-reported. And
yes, people will only be as honest as they want to be. So
I
you know,
find doing a survey that's like, and being completely honest, very freeing myself.
yeah, I have no reason to lie with a survey. It's
The only
anonymous.
time I lie is they'll be like, which of these brands have you ever heard of? And I'll be like,
I don't know.
what is a Pepsi?
Pepsi?
I have never heard of this. Cola.
All right.
La. Pepsi Cola. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. But like that's something that I never thought about. It's just it's obvious that there's going to be a much higher dating pool on the hetero side than there is on the LGBT side. And I think that's something that people don't take into consideration. And it's just like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not like we should aim to like change that number, but it is kind of unfortunate to think that because of that sort of statistic that probably adds to the issue of like biphobia and bi erasure. And even like biphobia within the LGBT community is a big problem. That's a whole nother topic within itself. And
it's a problem. It's an
also the other reason that they brought up, which I don't know if it like how much water it holds, but they also talked about like internalized homophobia and why that could be a reason why more bisexuals more often end up in like a hetero relationship. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was what our observations are and like perceptions are as far as how society will react to a hetero or like an opposite sex relationship and how they react to a same-sex relationship. Just like out on the street, walking around, PDA especially, holding hands, hugging, kissing. Like what you have noticed.
Well, I've only ever really actually been in one real relationship, and that would be my current one. But I know from the times that people have assumed I was in long-term committed gay relationships with, that wasn't even true, but like, you know, oh well. It's a thing. It's a thing. When people like or don't like it, it's an opinion that they get to have and they get to participate. And it is a conversation that has to happen. Whereas when you're in a opposite sex relationship, even if neither of you is actually a heterosexual human, it just happens. It's just what it is, and there's nothing else on it. And I think that's bull.
I mean, unless they're like full on having sex in the street, it's people kind of just turn their cheek. They're like, okay, two
Max
people kissing.
Would be
it's
making
cool.
out on a street corner, and we would probably get less comment in some places than if a gay couple innocently held hands and walked down the street.
Like, there's one thing that's infuriating to me, and that's the wrong word because it's something that makes me furious, is
That's what you just said.
That's what infuriating means. What did you think infuriating meant?
I thought it meant like
He didn't know what frost was?
mildly annoyed. I knew what frost was. I didn't
No.
know how it happened.
No, he thought it fell from the sky. He thought he couldn't tell me what the difference was between it and snow.
Look,
It's okay. It's okay.
not.
We're not
It's
not rehashing all of that. It seems like it's something that you've already
The
been
cab
dealing
driver
with.
laughed at him.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was the same cab driver who got
Who brought
Tori
Tori
to our place.
house on
Oh my
Thanksgiving.
god.
So yeah.
He's a friend now.
Anyway.
Just like me and the guy that brings me my Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Stuart.
Cabby who deserves pie.
Yeah. He knows me now.
What were you saying about what makes you angry? In the
there
world?
is-
Yeah, what's infuriating to you?
Whenever homophobic shit happens around my hometown, it's always really bad. I've had a friend of mine who got his arm broken outside a club.
Oh, fuck.
I've had another two of my mates were chased around a park by some dude screaming at them that they were going to hell. But you never see stories in the news of that level of violence being perpetrated against anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you do, you see.
You do.
Everything's terrible.
Yeah.
But,
The world's going to
We're not
hell in a
for the
handbasket.
purpose of being heterosexual.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yes. Yeah. By the way, I'm sorry if you guys can hear any sort of like crunching in the background. I gave Hemi a cow tail to chew on, and he's chewing it very noisily. So, I mean, I definitely think it's interesting that it completely depends where you are. Like, in Kansas, you would definitely, like, I never saw same-sex couples really, like, walking around holding hands, things like that. Just doing normal couple things. I definitely did not see that very often. But then this past spring, I took a trip to the West Coast and I went to Portland, and holy crap, it was like gay heaven there.
Yep.
Because, and I'm talking about Portland, Oregon, not Portland, Maine.
Actually,
Sorry.
I have stories about Portland, Maine that also go on this topic, and that's going to be a problem.
But it completely depends where you are.
It's
Like,
true.
I definitely had a moment at a gay bar, nonetheless, in my hometown in Kansas, that the girl that I was dating, we were out on the smoke patio out front, and we were just hanging out, whatever, and we kissed, and come to find out there was a group of 3 dudes over in the corner looking at us, making very inappropriate gestures with their fingers and mouth. Just because we just gave each other a simple little peck. So I think there's a really big issue with people fetishizing same-sex relationships, and that's
especially women in same-sex relationships.
like guys, straight men with women that are in same-sex relationships, whether that's romantic or sexual, that's a big thing. And then also straight women who fetishize gay men or men that are in same-sex relationships. It's a problem. It shouldn't be fetishized. It's just people, you know?
Sorry, there's a word for that in Japanese.
There is. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen it online before. But yeah, it's really big in like online and like fandom communities and things like that. It's a big thing. But we see it more often in person with straight men and 2 women.
Yeah.
And I
yeah,
experienced
that's a problem.
I experienced it firsthand, and I felt really icky afterward. Like,
Yeah.
it makes me feel like I'm being turned, like, it goes beyond just a dude making a nasty, like, very forward comment to you. It feels way worse than that. To, like, have your, just a normal relationship being turned into, I don't know, like, it made me feel gross. That it wasn't anything other than just a cute little peck.
Yeah.
And they're over there, you know,
Being bastards.
wiggling their tongues at us. It was fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously we still have a long way to go as far as society goes to get past that shit, because, oof, it's a problem.
This is just so depressing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and because what we were talking about previously was a bit heavier, I wanted to end it on, like, a fun little note about, like,
Is it another statistics game and
No.
win?
no statistics.
You'll never win. You're dating
Yes.
You're not wrong.
But I wanted to kind
me.
of,
A
like,
psychiatrist warned me about this. That if I was too competitive, I would drive him away because, and according to this male psychiatrist, men are weak. I loved it. It was great.
Now,
Thanks, Dr. S.
he's not wrong, but he's a little wrong.
He was wrong about you specifically, but he was right about how men
Men are weak. I'm not denying that. Men are weak. But I'm not gonna leave you just because you're right.
Thank you. So what's Maddie's game?
Yeah.
so I just kind of wanted to, like, talk about the differences between dating men and dating women from either sex's perspective.
Right.
Like, I know that you guys haven't been in relationships with the same gender, but
Yeah.
you could probably
Why
make
are we even in
assumptions
this
of,
episode?
or like
Yeah.
what
I can make assumptions.
what you like, or in attractions, like if you have different things that you're attracted
Yeah.
to depending on the gender. And that's a big thing about, like, the difference between bisexuality and pansexuality, and we'll talk about that another time. But like I very openly describe myself as bisexual because I have things about women that I'm attracted to and things about men that I'm attracted to. Like, I have different things that I'm attracted to depending on the gender. But having dated both, I definitely have noticed some differences. Like, I'll just go ahead and start, and
Yeah,
that'll
start.
maybe get the ball rolling and get you guys to get some light bulbs popping up. But, like, I notice, first with, like, the physicality of things, that women are so much softer. Like, physically and also, like, in the way that they do things. Like, I find that this is going straight into the physical shit.
Hell yeah.
But like women are a lot softer with like their kisses, for example. Like their lips are always softer. They don't have their lips tense. And just like the way women touch is a lot softer than how I've been touched by a man.
Yeah.
Because I've only ever dated straight men. So I can't say that it's different with a man that isn't straight.
I can't
but-
tell you either, because it's him or a couch that I was Facebook official with for a year.
We need to have a whole episode that just goes over your dating history.
I want to know about this couch.
His name was Rutherford.
Rutherford the couch.
Rutherford the couch.
Oh my god.
In fact, his name was Rutherford M. Sofa.
Rutherford sofa. But yeah, I mean, then there's just like the obvious shit of that stereotypically women tend to be a bit more like emotional when it comes to anything, whereas men can be a little bit more standoffish and cold when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I mean, I've noticed that that's true, but in kind of different ways than
Yeah.
at face value.
For me, just coming from a point of view of attraction, one of the reasons that I was attracted to this dweeb when we first met was he's the dweeb. The main attraction that I felt was because you were emotionally open and vulnerable, whereas like the majority of the women that I've been attracted to has actually really been people who are not that emotionally available, and I don't know what it is. I like
really?
contrast. Like I will buy like a pair of shoes if it has like two different textures. I like contrast.
Oh.
Maybe that's it. But I think it's also just what I'm looking for in a man is lack of threateningness.
I understand that.
Yeah, I am completely unthreatening.
I mean, you're not taller than me. I can beat you at arm wrestling. Yeah, no, I know.
I still don't think I was. Certainly when we started, I don't feel I was.
The amount of times that you and I just like cried on a bench.
Yeah. I was emotionally open, but I wasn't emotionally coherent.
So?
Actually, something that I've noticed is like emotional maturity. If you're talking about dating a man that's the same age as you or a woman that's the same age as you, the woman tends to have more emotional maturity and like that ability to communicate through the emotions.
Yeah.
And understanding their emotions so that they can like explain to their partner, this is why I'm upset and this is why this is a problem and like this is how I want to fix it. Whereas men, if they're the same age as the woman, per se, they can't, typically they don't have the same emotional maturity. I think women just tend to get to that level sooner than men do.
We kind of have to.
Men tend to be worse kissers.
100%.
Yep.
Like
I've had a dude come out, like multiple dudes come at me with their tongues already out of their mouths.
Who tried to suck my lips off.
Oh god, yeah.
So
yeah, men are worse kissers because men don't have to think about what they're doing.
Yeah.
exactly.
You can tell. I mean, there's something kind of charming about it. It's like they're in the moment, and I'm thinking about what shapes my lips are making. But also, like, man.
I mean, like I've kissed men before, and I've just been like, "Was that
your best?"
That it? Especially
Not impressed.
Like especially after I like had my first girlfriend, and that'd be like playing Truth or Dare or Gay Chicken with guys, and then be like,
gay chicken.
yeah, no. Despite being bisexual, I was terrible at Gay Chicken, whereas all my straight friends were way better than me.
That's usually how it goes, honestly.
And the fear
Yeah.
of being found out.
Yeah.
No, they knew. They
Well,
knew.
even then,
It
I
was
don't know,
just
like...
You're just awkward.
Feelings.
yeah. But like that's. But even then, like
Kind of a weird one.
men are so bad at kissing.
They
How
are.
do you manage with me?
You're not as bad as some.
I'm not as bad,
As
but
bad
I'm
as
still bad.
some. Well, okay, that honestly, I was, doing my usual like YouTubing and researching on random topics that I end up in like a black hole of information about, and I came across someone that was talking about how like for women, when it comes to any sort of like sexual what's the word I'm thinking of?
Activity?
Any sort of sexual acts, even kissing, it's like, it's a performance for us. And it's, like, we are just...
We're so aware of the fact that we're being... we're the thing that's being consumed, we're the consumer.
Yes, exactly. Like,
No, we're not
our
consumers.
purpose is to satisfy our partner.
Oh, I know, it's depressing, but it's fine.
Sorry.
But, like, that's just how most of society, like, I don't think it's done intentionally, but I think typically women feel like when they're physical with someone, they are there to,
The product.
yes, bring pleasure to the other person. Whereas men, they aren't going into it, yeah, they might be in their head a little bit thinking, like, is this right? I don't know. But I think for the most part, it's probably not because they're trying to please their partner. It's probably because of their own ego. I think a good portion. Definitely not saying all men.
Hashtag not all men.
Yeah.
We shouldn't
Gross.
we shouldn't have to say that. If you don't think this is about you, then it's not about you.
Yeah.
If you're getting offended because I'm not like that, mate, it's about you.
Okay.
But
yeah. Long
I
enough.
think we've wrapped up. If anyone listening or watching to this at home has any,
Exactly.
Tori's
yeah.
making cookies.
Sorry. So
and I smell them.
So that's a good time to wrap up then.
Yeah,
Yes.
cookie time,
So
bye!
if
Oh,
anyone-
Julie awoke from the dead.
Yeah.
If
Oh, yeah, sorry. We're
Cookies or
in the
dragon?
UK. We call them biscuits here.
Bigot!
if there's chocolate chips in them, they're still cookies.
Yeah, but
They're not chocolate
there's
chips
not
'cause
chocolate
I'm
chips.
here.
Because
Okay.
Anna will die.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why
Thanks
don't
for
keep
trying to
forgetting
kill me,
that?
babe.
So let's
Think of anything else?
we're gonna bring back something that we mentioned at the beginning. And this is I want to know. I'm curious. I'm curious if our listeners think that they are steamy babies or spicy babies.
Let us know at our social medias.
We're on pretty much all social medias.
So we're on Twitter at Bye Bye Baby Podcast.
Tumblr at Bye Bye Baby Podcast.
Instagram at Bye Bye Baby Podcast.
Beginning with
Yeah,
or you
you
can
for-
email us.
Yes, or you can email us at byebyebabypodcast@gmail.com. Let us know. I'm curious. I think that I'm probably a spicy baby.
You're definitely a spicy baby.
I'm a steamy baby, I think.
I don't know what I am.
I
You're
think
my
you're
baby.
kind of spicy, actually.
I'm a little spicy.
Yeah.
With your wit, you're definitely a spicy
I'm
baby.
sharp. Like a mature cheddar.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Like finely aged cheddar.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
So, with that said, quick little tidbit of advice. I think that it's kind of so many people get caught up in the whole like, oh, I'm only into personality. I'm not necessarily into the physical, and a lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you're demi.
Or
Like-
anywhere on the ace spectrum.
Yes,
which
or on the A
I'm
spectrum.
saying we have to have like a segment like ace baby.
But I mean, that's how like
That's on
my
the list.
attractions to people form is usually first through, their
Yeah.
brains. But for the most part,
Or lack thereof.
or like,
You're a zombie.
Oh, no, that's about me.
oh fuck, where was I going with this? Oh, so I think a lot of people feel like they're not allowed to say that there's certain things that they're attracted to with men compared to women or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to be attracted to different things with
Yep.
different genders and sexes. That's fine. That's who you is. That's how I am.
Controversial opinion. Woman in a leather jacket is better than man in a leather jacket.
Oh, fuck yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
100%. So, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye,
Bye-bye,
babies.
babies.